You spend months learning to code and still can't build anything. Frustrating, right? You're not alone. After failing through dozens of tutorials, I finally discovered 6 non-obvious techniques that actually helped me build real projects. But here is the truth. I'm not here to teach you how to become a software engineer in 3 to 6 months, because that's just not realistic for most people. Could it happen? Sure, people also win the lottery, but there's nothing that's gonna happen to everyone. Alright, let's dive in. Number 1, start small. A common mistake people make is thinking they need to know more before building a project. But the truth is, you only need a few basics to get started. Take a to-do app for example. To build this, you just need to understand a few concepts like tags in HTML, selector in CSS, events and DOM manipulation in JavaScript. Try to learn the minimum you need and go start building. Achieving small tasks will help you to stay motivated and quickly see results. Of course, we'll get stuck in the beginning. So, check some resources again and continue with your task. Apply your knowledge to solve a problem is the most efficient way to learn new skills. And the easiest way to do that is to get in a state of flow. That means finding a balance between your current skills and your task. Too easy, you will get bored. Too hard, you will give up. This challenging, you stay focused. That's why video games get harder as you progress to keep you engaged. So treat coding the same way. Number 2, self-learning. The tech world is always evolving. New language, tools, and frameworks pop up all the time. Now, as you learn, you might wondering which programming language you should learn. But the truth is, it doesn't really matter as long as you get good at one of them, because everything you do in programming is essentially problem solving. Memorizing syntax isn't very helpful, especially since you will likely learn new language in the future. Instead, focus on learning patterns and the logic behind the code. For example, if you want to loop over something but you never used C# before, you still understand the trade-off between a for loop, while loop, and a recursion. That's why when you go to a technical interview, they don't really care which language you use. They just want to see if you can solve real problems. Number 3, stop watching. Some people spend days watching tutorials before even starting their first project. But the truth is, those projects you see online weren't built in real time. A few years ago, when I finished copying a project, I felt very proud of myself. But 2 weeks later, I could not rebuild the same project without watching again. The reason was simple. I was watching, not thinking. What you see online is just a clean and polished version of the project. What you don't see are the mistakes, the bugs, the debugging process. And those problems are what makes you grow faster. So, next time you get stuck, don't ask for help. Spend a few minutes trying to solve the problem by yourself. That's how your brain truly learns. Not by copying code, but by solving real problems. Number 4, the Feynman technique. Richard Feynman was a physicist and Nobel Prize winner known for many things, and one of them was his learning technique. Here is how it works. Choose a topic. Teach the topic to a 12-year-old. Identify gaps in your knowledge. Refine and simplify your explanation. In other words, you learn the most efficiently when you try to teach the very thing you are learning. Here is an example. Let's say you want to understand an API. An API is like a waiter between you, the client, and the kitchen, the server. The client makes a request like ordering food. The waiter or API takes your request and delivers it to the kitchen. The kitchen or server prepares the food, in other words, the data, and the waiter or API brings the result back to you. But to make a request, the client can only use 4 words: get to bring an item, post to add a new order, put to change the order, and delay to cancel or remove one of his order. If you can't explain it simply, you haven't fully understood the concept. Now all you have to do is to pretend teaching something. However, if you want to go further, creating online content sessions, blog posts, or videos is even better for deepening your understanding. And if that's not your style, you can also join communities, answer questions, or help some friends. Number 5, discipline. After a few years of coding, your biggest fear won't be writing code but eyeglasses and back pain. You can work on your computer because the text is too hard to read. But if you're really serious about coding, you should spend at least a few hours per day. And to do that, setting small achievable goals will be helpful. Don't compare yourself by those who seem to code like genius. People don't learn at the same speed. That's why sometimes the senior developer looks younger than the junior, or why some with years of experience are still stuck in the same position. Coding isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. That's mean building a sustainable habit which will help you progress constantly. Number 6, take a break. It's very common to spend countless hours fixing some errors or writing code without even noticing it. But if you want to be truly productive, You need to stay in good shape both physically and mentally. Spending the night debugging some code is pointless if you are too tired to continue the next day. There are tons of research which talked about the benefits of mental spacing. Sometimes just doing other things for a few hours is just enough to find a solution. You don't need to be a genius to become a web developer. What you really need is just a little bit of dedication and curiosity.